Hi, boys and girls. This is Mr. Woods, and today we're going to be working on our Ready Mathematics book, specifically on lessons 12.1 and 12.2, or rather, lessons 12, session 1, and session 2. Our lesson objectives is to identify ones, tens, and hundreds in a 3-digit number, interpret models to determine the combinations of hundreds, tens, and ones in a number, write a 3-digit number in terms of varied combinations of hundreds, tens, and ones. First, we're going to warm up. Model with tens rods, then write the number. Remember how we were writing the tens rods and such like that? Well, there is another way that you can work on that, and that's to use the tools that are in your iReady Math toolkit. So here I can just grab a 100 block or whatever, but let's go back. Let's see what we need to do though. So 3 tens is, let's take a look. There's 1, 2, 3. Here we go. And if you remember how we can count by 10, because these are 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These are 10 rods. We can count by tens. 10, 20, 30. But wait, let's see what it says. 3 tens is, oh, well, that's 30. Let's look at it for 5. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We just add some more here. And we can count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, right? Let's say 50. But wait, let's take a look at this another way too. Remember, if you don't have your tens rods like that many of them, we can draw them out. So 7 tens is, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Count by tens again. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. And 9 tens is, here I'm going to show you something a little bit different. Let's say we want to look at, let's get a green one here. I want to look at this. This is a 100 block. But wait, we have, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's a 10 rod there. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10 rods within a 100 block. But we only are looking for 9 10 rod. So here we go. All right, let's do it. Let's count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Go back, and we can fill in that number. 9 tens is 90. But I could have also just written it as 9 tens. I go 9 tens. It's a great way to remember. Okay, we're going to be on page 307 for lesson 12.1. Explore 3-digit numbers. What is 100? That's like our main question there. Let's start off with model it. Fill in the blanks below. Number 1, show 90 in different ways. Well, these are 1 units, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10 in each of these columns here. But how many columns are there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, well, same thing what we did with that 100 block. We can go back here and just go 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 ones. So there's 90 ones. Okay. Now it says 90 is how many tens? And let's count the number of tens that we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tens. So 9 tens, remember what I said there's 9 tens. So that 90 is equal to 9 tens. 9 tens. We're still on page 307. Let's look at number 2. It says show 100 in different ways. Whew. Okay, well, let's count this again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it looks like there's 10 1 units in each of these columns. And there's how many columns? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, let's count it up. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100 ones here. So 100 is 100 ones. See how this is going? Now watch this. Remember, if I wanted to write it out as tens, it'd be 10 tens. So let's see if that stays the same. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10 in each of these. Count by tens. But we could do that to say, well, I'm pretty certain this is 100 here. So let's count the number of tens, though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tens. So that's 10 tens. So 100 is 10 tens. Look at that. See how that goes? And another way of saying it, there's 10 tens. See how I'm doing that? I'm just saying there's 10 tens. All right. 100 is how many hundreds? So hold on a second. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so there's 10 down and 10 across. So we know that there's 10 tens, and which makes up 100. So 100 is, and this is just a, we call it a 100 block. So just 100. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next page here on 308. We're still on Model It. Number 3. Look at the blocks below. Remember, this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we know that 10 tens make 100, and there's 2 of these. So the block shows how many hundreds? If there's 2 100s, so 100 plus 100 is 2 hundreds. See how that goes? Now I want you to think about ways to show 200 using place value. Now you can look back, we can say 0 hundreds, 0 tens, but how many ones does 200 look like? Well, you can count them all up over here because there's 200 of these 1 units here. Those are the individual blocks. Or we can just say, well, hey, wait a minute. I know that this is 200 ones. There we go. Now, let's look at the next one. 0 hundreds plus how many tens and 0 ones? Well, you can count across. I know there's 10 here and there's 10 here. So there's 10, 20 tens. 20 tens. Remember, if we just wrote that out with 20 and then instead of saying the word tens, we can just put a 0 there. Now, and how many hundreds are there? Well, you've already answered that question. There's 100 plus 100 is 200s. Hope you're getting this. Let's move forward. We're on page 309. Now, what I want you to do is let's just take a look at this. It says here, think about what you know about 3-digit numbers. Fill in each box, use words, numbers, and pictures. Show as many ideas as you can. So what is, I'm going to say about 3-digit numbers, and we can say that a group of 10 tens is a 100-digit number. So we can say that. Over here, what I know about it. So maybe I can write 100 as 100, 100, or you can write 200. What other numbers that can you write there? And then here we go. It says examples. So maybe a 100 block, maybe 10 rods. And if you want to do 101 units, you can do that. So or you can just write things out. I want you to use your imagination on how you can do this for this example on page 309. Oh, here we go. And what do the zeros represent in 100? That's number 2. So think about that. So remember how I talk about place value. So let's take a look at this. And if you recall how I draw these lines in between and like this, because I want to separate my ones, tens, and then now hundreds. See, this is our place value here. So the zeros, we can write this out. The zeros represent tens and ones, and that there are none there. Okay? All right. Now we can go on to lesson 12.2, or lesson 12, session 2. We have another warm-up. So what do you want to do? It says here, show each number with base 10 blocks. Then tell how many tens and ones. Okay, so 43 is how many tens and how many ones? Well, let's check it out. Let's go over here. Let's erase all this. And so I know 40, or there's 4 tens. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just space these out here. So here we go. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 3 ones. 1, 2, 3. Look at that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 tens and 3 ones. Let's go back. So 4 tens and 3 ones. We can do the same for 27. But instead of going over to that block, I can also draw it out. There's 1 10, 2 tens, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I usually do these in blocks of 5. So once I did 5, I came over here and do that other 7. So we can say how many tens? 1, 2, and 7 ones. But wait, look how this all plays out. So let's just want to draw my line in the middle here. That's the ones, ones. These are the tens, tens. Here's the ones. I'm sorry. Here's the ones for the 7, 7 ones. And there's 2 tens. That's how you break apart those numbers. Okay. Let's go on to page 311, lesson 12.2. And let's take a look and see what we got going on here. So it says model it, base 10 blocks. Oh boy. So remember, this is a 100 block, and a 100 block. So we count 100, 200s, 300s. Okay. So 300s equals 300. That's 100, 100, 200s, 300s. Now I want you to try it. And if you remember how we went through and we were looking at the base 10 blocks, right here, remember how we counted them up? It's the same thing here. But you just have to just take your time and just look at this. Well, let's look at what we have. We have a hundreds block, a hundreds block, a hundreds block, a 10 rod, a 10 rod, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 1 units. They're also labeled here. So 100 plus 100 plus 100, that's 100, 200, 300s, plus 1, 2 tens, plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, it says it right there, 5 ones. 300 plus 20 plus 5 equals 325. But wait, let's take a look at this a little bit different here. 300, there's 300. 20, and 5. And the reason I do this is because I want to show you, okay, how we keep our place values. Is remember I was showing you that with the tens and the ones, we separate them up, and then now it's the hundreds and the tens, we separate them out. We can come back here and go, wait a minute, 0 plus 0 plus 5, because this is plus, is equal to 5. 0 plus 2, or actually 0 tens plus 2 tens is equal to 2 tens. And 3 hundreds plus, well, that's just, there's nothing else to add to it, so 325. That's how they're getting that number. You don't have to leave your numbers like this. You can draw them out like this to make sure. You want to double check. Whew. Okay. So now, let's take a look at this here. So number 4. And it says 325 is equal to how many tens and how many ones? Ooh, wait a minute. Well, these look like 10 rods here, which they are. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 rods, 10 rods, 10 rods. So now we can say, well, there's 10, 20, 30, 1, 2. See how I did that? 32 tens. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ones. But wait. Remember how I was telling you that 32 tens is, we can write out tens like that, or we can say 32 tens and 5 ones. Double check, 320 plus 5, 0 ones plus 5 ones, 2 tens, and 3 100 and 300s. There we go. Look at that, 325. It's the same number, just written out differently. All right, let's model this out. Well, it says write hundreds, tens, and ones in a place value chart. Now, you may be wondering, how do I do this? What am I supposed to be doing? What are you looking for? So let's take a look here. So we have number 5 says 3 hundreds, 0 tens, and 0 ones. Well, how many hundreds? 3. How many tens? 0. How many ones? 0. Pretty simple. See that? 0 ones. See how those lines that I've drawn in the past? Same thing to separate the tens from the ones and the hundreds from the tens. Same process. 3 hundreds, 2 tens, and 5 ones. 3 hundreds, 2 tens, 5 ones. Just instead of having the hundreds there, it's just right above it. Tens, boom, boom, boom. So now we're going to connect it. We're going to complete the problems below. Number 7, we're on page 312. What is the same about the base 10 blocks and the place value chart for 325? Whoa, what do you think about that? Well, they both show that there are 3 hundreds and 2 tens and 5 ones. Okay, you can write that out. They both show there are 3 hundreds, and 2 tens and 5 ones. Because remember, 3 hundreds, 2 tens, and 5 ones. All right, so let's move on to number 8. It says, choose any model you like to show 6 606. Well, let's take a look at this. Let's just build this up. You know, I'm going to go with, let's do that model thing right here. We're going to go across. I know it's a little rough, but let's just say this is hundreds, tens, and ones. It doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, I'm just coming this out. So 606. 606. You could have used 100 blocks, had 6 of them, and then 6 ones. Or just other ways. There's so many different ways that you could have done it, with ones, with hundreds, with tens. Let your imagination go. I saw this as the easiest way to show how to model 606. All right. So now we're into page 313. This is where we're getting into our examples. This is going to be your homework and such. But let's read this over. It says, example, how many hundreds, tens, and ones are there? Count. Well, there's 100 block, 10 rod, 10 rod, 10 rod, 10 rod, and 1, 2, 3 ones, and it's all labeled up above. Let's count it up. 1, 2 hundreds. 1, 2, 3, 4 tens. 1, 2, 3 ones. And again, it shows it going across. I really like, just to verify it, just go, hey, wait a minute. This is 200. There's 40. And there's 3 ones. I'm going to add that up. Let's bring this down. I'm going to separate my hundreds from my tens. I'm going to separate my tens from my ones. And come back and 0 ones, 0 ones, 3 ones, adding them up. 0 plus 0 plus 3 is 3. 0 tens plus 4 tens is 4 tens. And 2 hundreds is 2 hundreds. So 243. Right? Same thing down here. Add up the hundreds, put it there. Add up the tens, put it there. Add up the ones, put them there. And then you can see it. You can verify it or validate your answer by doing it this way as well. Again, just more practice. How many hundreds, tens, and ones are there? You know, count them up. You know, look at that. And then I like this. This model shows 200 and tens. How many tens are there? So look at it. You know, count the number of 10 rods. This model shows 136 in tens. How many tens are there in 136? How many ones are left over? Well, count your tens, okay? And then count the ones. Tens here, ones there. All right, and then finally, you're going to this chart where it shows a hundreds, tens, and ones chart. Same thing, complete the chart below. So 7 hundreds plus 5 ones. What do you think goes there? Number 6, complete the chart below to show 9 hundreds, 4 tens, 8 ones. All right. And that's it for this time for lessons 12.1 and 12.2. Make sure you practice. If you have any questions, ask me.